Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about the DJI Avata 2 versus the DJI FPV. Is this a worthy upgrade or is this actually better? Now, I've been flying the DJI FPV since it came out about 2 years ago, I think, and I had my fair share of fun with this drone. Now, when the Avata 1 came out, I said to myself, oh yeah, that's a smaller package, I should definitely get that one. But you know, the Avata 1 had its tumble troubles. So now when the Avata 2 came out, you know, I just jumped on board. And I will share with you the one reason why I'm changing to this from this. But you know, is it actually better? So let's first talk about the original FPV drone. Now this is a very big, a very heavy, and a very powerful landscape cinematic FPV drone. Now that's pretty much exactly what it's made for. It's really heavy and it's really powerful, and every time I'm flying this, I feel like I cannot fly this in any tight spaces. The problem is, I mean, the comparison would be like this. If you have a really big American style, you know, Lincoln V8 engine, massive car, and you know, those cars are meant to be driven on wide open American roads like Route 66. But then you end up in a small European city with very tight streets and very narrow corners, and well, you know, it's just really hard to navigate that big thing. It has way too much power, it's way too fast, and it's just not ideal for a situation like this. Now, this is meant for wide open landscape, mountainscape, just big spaces where you can fly this really fast, because this goes 140-ish kilometers per hour and it reaches 100, I think, in 2 seconds. I mean, the second you throttle up, this thing just flies like crazy. And there's way too much power in this to fly it in any sort of tight, you know, acro style environment. I mean, professional FPV pilots could probably fly this, but they all say that it's really heavy, you know, like a big Mustang. Now, on the other hand, the Avata is made for tight, small spaces, and it has the propeller guards built in because this is a Cinewoop. And well, these are also not freestyle drones. I mean, they have their aerodynamic troubles, like the original Avata showed. Now, a lot of people were saying that that's a software issue or a hardware issue. My opinion is that it's an aerodynamic issue, because if you fly forward and then do a flat spin, well, one of the propellers is going to end up in complete dirty air or in its own propeller wash, and then the other propellers overpower the drone and just flip it under. And once you see the drone start falling down, naturally you throttle up if you're not very experienced, and well, you just accelerate the drone towards the ground, because acceleration typically means up. Yeah, now the Avata 2 also has this issue, but it's kind of minimized. The original Avata actually had a firmware update where when that dive happened, the drone switched to normal mode and kind of recovered itself. Here, at least until now, there's no such firmware update, and I don't think it's actually necessary because I haven't been able to flip it around. I mean, maybe if I would go really crazy in a flat, you know, like dead yaw spin. However, that's not the only issue. Now, the cool thing is that this is small, very lightweight. I mean, it's like, I would say like half, you know, like half the weight of the FPV. This one is 800, 900 grams, and this one is, I think, 400. So you definitely notice the difference in weight and the size. I'm sorry, I ran out of batteries. It's the first time I ran out of batteries on a Sony camera. Where was I? Oh yeah, the weight and the size. This one is lighter than this, but it's also not as powerful as the FPV, so you can really notice this. And well, that's on one hand a good thing, because now you have a more controlled flight if you're trying to fly in tight, more narrow spaces, and you can even fly this indoors because you have a lot of control, especially if you fly with the remote controller instead of that motion controller, which is just quite interesting. Yeah, I tried it, it's fun, but I'm probably never going to use it. I find the sticks to be just a better experience, especially you want to fly this manually, so no. And the one thing that I notice is that this definitely feels underpowered. I mean, compared to the FPV, this really lacks the power, and it's a lighter drone, but you can feel that, you know, when you're falling down and you punch the throttle, it takes a lot of time for the drone to pick up. And I'm not talking about just the propeller wash, which isn't, I think, the problem, because I was going forward and down, so typically in that scenario, propeller wash is not an issue, but it is underpowered compared to the FPV. You know, and this is where, like, I am right now. I have way more confidence and much more fun flying the original DJI FPV, especially for those landscape and mountainscape videos. However, this one feels safer, more controlled, and it's a smaller package. And this is where I tell you why I choose the Avata 2 or the DJI FPV. Now, it could be a deal breaker for some people, but the problem with the DJI FPV is that it's really big. I mean, this thing with the remote and the really big goggles and the batteries requires a full backpack. So there's no way I can hike up a mountain, bring all of my photography gear, or at least one camera and one lens alongside with this drone. So every time I go into the mountains or it's hiking in anywhere, well, the only camera I can bring with me is the small DJI Osmo Action 4, because there is no room for other cameras. Whereas on the other hand, the Avata 2 fits in my backpack alongside with the smaller goggles, and well, the remote is about the same size. But if I was to take the motion controller, that's even a smaller package, and I can easily pack a camera and maybe even an additional lens alongside in that one backpack. So that's pretty much the only reason why I'm choosing the Avata 2 over the DJI FPV. Although I do enjoy flying this a lot more. I mean, this is fun. This is, well, it's kind of slow, but I'll get used to it, and you will see now some more videos coming in the future days. So anyway, if you guys have any comments or questions about this topic, leave that down below. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. It's for free, and you will get much more recommendations of such videos and the future videos that will be coming to the channel. Everything that has to do with the lens is covered on this channel. So thank you, I appreciate you. Thanks a lot, and hit the like button for the algorithm. That also helps me. Thanks. I appreciate you much more. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.